TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. Unidentified aircraft strike multiple military targets in the vicinity of Syria's capital Damascus. An Iranian regime-run news agency confirms the death of an IRGC operative in Syria due to chemical injuries. IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi highlights the strategic importance of Israel's maritime domain. Unidentified aircraft struck a number of targets in Syria's northern Rif Damascus governorate overnight, reportedly destroying military installations that were operated by Iranian proxy militias. At approximately 20 minutes after 1 a.m. last night, multiple waves of air-to-surface missiles penetrated Syrian airspace from the direction of Lebanon. In response, Syria's aerial defense array launched a number of surface-to-air Russian-made SA-5 missiles in the direction of the attacking aircraft and incoming projectiles, while Syrian military sources insisted that most of the hostile missiles were successfully shot down. Some installations in the vicinity of the city of Damascus sustained direct strikes, causing material damage. The London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which is run by Syrian opposition figures, claimed in its report that the military positions that were targeted entailed centers used by Iranian-backed militias for developing weapons in scientific research centers in Barzeh, which is a northern neighborhood of Damascus City, as well as in Jamraya, which is a village located northwest from the Syrian capital. Separate reports from the ground also confirm that a number of warehouses were targeted in a southwestern neighborhood of Damascus. And while there were no immediate reports about casualties, local sources confirmed that ambulances were indeed spotted rushing to a targeted installation. It is worth mentioning that regime sources immediately rejected those reports as a blatant lie. With that being said, Syria also immediately pointed a blaming finger toward Israel. Nevertheless, the IDF spokesperson's unit refused to confirm nor deny its involvement. However, the IDF did confirm that a surface-to-air missile that was launched from Syrian territory towards Israeli airspace last night exploded over the Mediterranean Sea. Subsequently, residents in central Israel woke up this morning to find several fragments of SA-5 missiles in their backyards. Consequently, Israeli police bomb disposal units arrived at the scenes of the impact and collected shrapnel. Thankfully, no injuries or damage were reported. It is worth mentioning that following the alleged Israeli strike, a number of Iranian cargo planes departing Tehran for Damascus were spotted, and the Syrian army has reportedly deployed additional surface-to-air batteries in areas surrounding their capital for fear of additional strikes over the weekend. Meanwhile, at the United Nations headquarters in New York, a meeting of the Security Council was held on Syria's chemical weapons. Under Resolution 2118, a framework for the elimination of Syria's chemical stockpiles was adopted unanimously on the 27th of September 2013. However, despite repeated claims by the Assad regime that it had in fact disposed of its stockpiles, inconsistency and gaps in the Syrian reports have consequently been deemed inaccurate.
To the identified gaps, inconsistencies, and discrepancies that remain unresolved, the OPCW Technical Secretariat continues to assess that at this stage, the declaration submitted by the Syrian Arab Republic cannot be considered accurate and complete in accordance with the Chemical Weapons Convention.
A report published by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, which is tasked with ensuring the implementation of Resolution 2118, warned of further signs of Syria's failure to cooperate fully with inspectors. Furthermore, the report highlighted a lacking response by the regime to open questions regarding unauthorized movement of cylinders, which resulted, among others, in a deadly incident in 2018 in the city of Duma, northwest of Damascus, which claimed the lives of at least 40 people and wounded over 100 others in what appeared to be a chemical agent attack. And while the OPCW concluded that the 2018 attack provided reasonable grounds vis-à-vis the use of a toxic chemical as a weapon, Russia and Syria have repeatedly condemned the subsequent OPCW reports as bias.
ومع الأسف الشديد حرفت هذه الجلسات عن هدفها وحولتها إلى وسيلة للتشهير بسوريا عبر تسييس قضايا فنية ومنصة للتشكيك في تعاونها وتقديم صورة غير صحيحة حوله وكيل الاتهامات الباطلة وترويج الأكاذيب ضد بلادي.
Despite efforts by the Damascus regime to label the reports as Western conspiracies, the United States, along with Britain and France, continue to demand for Syrian accountability.
It is time for the Assad regime to uphold its obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention and Resolution 2118. This Council decided, in the event of non-compliance with Resolution 2118, to impose measures under Chapter 7 of the UN Charter. We now have overwhelming evidence of numerous incidences of non-compliance by the Assad regime. Now is the time to uphold and enforce this Council's decision.
Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter sets out the UN Security Council powers to maintain peace, effectively allowing the Council to determine the existence of any threat to peace, breach of the peace, or act of aggression, and to take military or non-military action to restore international peace and security. In related news that is worth highlighting, the Iranian regime-run Tasnim news agency reported the death of an IRGC operative who was killed in Syria on Wednesday of this week, September 1st. According to the official report, the IRGC operative Mohammad Nourouzi was killed as a result of chemical injuries. The report further confirmed that the IRGC operative, a veteran of multiple battles in Syria, contracted his chemical injuries during, quote, his struggle in the resistance front, yet the regime-run news agency naturally stopped short from elaborating on the matter. Turning to the Israeli port city of Haifa, where a special ceremony marked a change of the command of the Israeli Navy, with Vice Admiral Eliyahu Sharvit passing the torch to Vice Admiral David Sar in the presence of IDF Chief of General Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi. In his opening remarks as Commander-in-Chief of the Israeli Navy, Admiral Sar highlighted that even before Israel was founded, the maritime space served as a gateway to the Promised Land. He also underscored that the sea has become a strategic front for the security and resilience of the State of Israel. The strategic importance of the maritime domain was subsequently echoed by General Kochavi, who asserted that it is the main lifeline for Israel's and the world's economy. The IDF Chief of General Staff noted, however, that while Israel and the countries of the world see the sea as a way to increase development and prosperity, the enemy uses the sea for terrorist purposes, to transfer weapons, illicit funds, and equipment designated for terrorist use. General Kochavi went on to address harsh public criticism of the IDF over the killing of the Border Police Special Operations Service member Bareil Shmueli, who was shot by a so-called Palestinian rioter during violent clashes along the Gaza-Israel security barrier.
בימים אלו אנו משלימים תחקיר יסודי שהופך כל אבן. זהו תחקיר שמבוסס על אמות מידה מקצועיות וערכיות בלבד. במקרים רבים התפתחו אירועי אלימות לאורך הגדר והפעלת אמצעי לחימה לאורך הגבול. נפגעו מחבלים רבים על ידי חיילי צה"ל. החיילים והמפקדים מצוידים בכל הכלים ובהוראות הפתיחה באש שהן חדות וברורות. כל טענה אחרת משוללת כל יסוד והיא אינה אלא שקר מוחלט. כל חייל הניצב בפני איום וסכנת חיים בשגרה או בלחימה רשאי, צריך ומחויב לפעול בחדות, לחתור למגע ולסכל את האיום.
The IDF Chief of Staff continued by defending the military's decision-making while engaging in operational activities.
בשדה הקרב שורר ערפל, התרחשויות פתאומיות וחיכוך, ואין אפשרות לצפות כל אירוע. ההחלטות מתקבלות במהירות ובתנאים מורכבים, ולא ניתן להימנע מטעויות. מסיבה זו ותוך גילוי מנהיגות ודוגמה אישית, המפקדים נמצאים לפנים. מפקדי צה"ל לא שולחים חיילים לקרב. הם יוצאים איתם ומובילים אותם.
It is worth remembering that earlier this week, General Kochavi warned the Islamist organizations in the Palestinian enclave that the IDF will not hesitate to launch yet another offensive operation against Gaza unless quiet is restored, to which Hamas's military wing, the Zaldin al-Qassam brigades, declared their readiness for war by threatening to resume indiscriminate rocket fire toward the civilian populations of Israel. Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7 Israel's prayer initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join the team and me here in Jerusalem to lift up the people of Syria in prayer for their salvation and peace, alongside prayers for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, in addition to our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shabbat Shalom U'Mevorach, and we will see you again on Monday at the same time.